What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to the 2020 Midseason Award Show. I am with Ben, my normal co-host with Nick's Picks, and this won't really affect anything with our bet for Nick's Picks, but I felt like this would be a fun episode to do. So, starting off, the AFC Rookie of the Half Year Awards. And I'm going to start this one with Ben. Ben, who is your AFC Rookie of the Year so far?
My AFC Rookie of the Year so far is, I know we differ because we discussed beforehand. Mine is Justin Herbert, and here's why. Justin Herbert, and I know, people might say, oh, Joe Burrow or some other players, but like Joe Burrow has played 2 more games than Herbert, and I'm not using that to fully say that Burrow doesn't deserve it, because I do think him and Herbert are like neck and neck, but I give it the edge to Herbert because he's only a 200 yards shy of 2,000 halfway through the year. He has 15 touchdowns, 5 picks, and he's really leading this team and showing that he can be a leader in the locker room. And he's definitely obviously more mobile than Phillip Rivers, so they already have an edge there from last year. I'm not saying that they're a playoff team necessarily, but I think they have a chance. It wouldn't really surprise me if they did, because there is a chance that they could make it in as maybe the 6th or 7th seed, but we'll see. But as of right now, I got Herbert winning the AFC Rookie of the Year.
All right, my AFC Rookie of the Year is none other than Joe Burrow. I think Joe Burrow has done a fantastic job so far in Cincinnati. And what it came down to for me was Joe Burrow's putting up the numbers. He's 3rd in the league in yards, like completely. He's 3rd in the league in yards, not among rookies. Overall, I think that's pretty impressive. 11 touchdowns and only 5 interceptions, so he's not turning the ball over much, which I think is key. But what it came down to for me is there were pretty low expectations with Burrow in Cincinnati in his first year. He's got no help around him. Herbert, on the other hand, I think he does have a team around him, and they started off the year with me and you both saying that they were going to be like a sleeper team in this league, and they're still sleeping. So I'm not really sure what's going on, but unfortunately the Los Angeles Chargers just haven't picked it up yet. So for me, Joe Burrow is the AFC Rookie of the Half Year. All right, moving on to NFC Rookie of the Half Year. For me, this was an easy one for me. I think a lot of people are going to look towards like CeeDee Lamb or whatever, but I'm going to go Justin Jefferson, and here's why. Justin Jefferson, 563 receiving yards. That is 14th in the league right now. 10 20-plus yard plays. That's tied for 3rd in the league behind Julio, Allen Robinson, and Ridley. CeeDee Lamb also has 10, but to me, it came to the yards in general and what you've been doing, put up numbers, and Justin Jefferson did have more yards than CeeDee Lamb. So for me, Justin Jefferson is the NFC Rookie of the Half Year.
CeeDee Lamb over Jefferson for one reason and one reason only, because CeeDee Lamb you could argue if he's not the best receiver on the Cowboys, he's number 2, and that's only because the number 1 is Amari Cooper. The one thing I will give Jefferson over Lamb is that Lamb only has 2 receiving touchdowns. He only has scored the ball twice. But I think that's more so the fact that Dak, he went down week 5 or week 6 it was. So, but as of right now, I'm leaning more towards CeeDee Lamb just as far as the midway point. But towards the end of the season, I wouldn't be surprised if Jefferson changed my mind when it comes to that.
All right, so the most surprising player of the year so far. Now, this could go a lot of different ways, but for me, I decided to go with somebody who I didn't think was going to have a good first half of the year. I figured they were going to have a decent year all around, but for first half of the year, I didn't think it was going to go all that great. That's Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I think Tom Brady, what he's done so far with this Tampa Bay team and in the division that he's in, I think that on a new team, he's kind of proven that maybe he's not as system of a quarterback as we all were starting to believe. So Brady, 4th in the league in yards. He's tied for 3rd in touchdowns, only 4 interceptions on the year. And like I said, he's 6-2 right now and leading the division for Tampa Bay in that tough NFC South division.
One player that I was considering, and I was very close to considering it, was Calvin Ridley for Atlanta, because I think he's showing he's a solid number 2. But I'm going at someone that's also a solid number 2 with another team, another bird in the NFC, and that is DK Metcalf, because he is, like Tom Brady was top 5 in passing. DK Metcalf is number 4 in the receiving yards in the league. and he's tied for number one in touchdowns at 7 with like a bunch of other receivers. And he is just, I'm not going to go as far as Kyle Shanahan saying that he's like Julio. I mean, he's built like Julio just physically. Like they both are like tall physical receivers and they're both fast. But I do think DK Metcalf, at least when it comes to this season, I didn't think he would, I thought he was going to do well this season. I didn't think he was going to do this well. I think he's showing a lot of people that passed up on him in the draft that, yeah, he has that talent to do what a lot of people might not have thought he was able to do.
Most disappointing player of the half year. For me, an easy one, Kirk Cousins. I mean, I didn't expect too much out of Kirk Cousins, but I know a lot of people did. And from what he's done in the past couple of years, I feel like you should be expecting more out of him. But so far this season, Kirk Cousins just has not performed. 22nd in the league in total yards, 12 touchdowns on the season, 10 interceptions. He is not performing well at all. The Minnesota Vikings are 2-5 right now and are ranked 4th in the NFC North. So it doesn't look good for the Vikings in a division where you would think, yeah, you have Green Bay, but Chicago's not that great of a team, and I think they're finally starting to show that. Detroit hasn't played that well, blown a couple of leads so far this season, so no real reason that the Vikings should be last in their division this year, and I think all the fingers you have to point are at Kirk Cousins.
A player that I did have at least some expectations for is who's going to be my most disappointing right now, and that's Cam Newton. Now, I will give Cam Newton a little bit of slack because he did miss, I think, 1 or 2 weeks, at least 1 week due to COVID. But at the end of the day, you look at his stats, he's barely over 1,000 yards. He's at 1,143. He has 7 interceptions and only 2 passing touchdowns. Like, that's really not that great. He does have, the one caveat is he does have 6 rushing, so he's doing more on the ground when it comes to scoring, but he has a terrible his QBR is 46, 29th. He's near the bottom in passing. He's near the bottom in everything that, I mean, yeah, they're using him more, I guess, as a runner to be more mobile because that is his strength. But at the end of the day, I expected more from Cam, especially because I'm assuming he's fully healthy, and I'm assuming that he would have done better in this system with Belichick. And as of right now, I'm not sure if Belichick has lost faith in him. I'm not sure if Cam is just struggling. Maybe he's not fully healthy. I mean, I don't know.
All right, the most surprising team of the year so far, and I think this one is fairly easy. The Pittsburgh Steelers, they're 7-0. They're the only undefeated team left in the league. And honestly, with Big Ben getting as old as he is, and, they have weapons on offense. Obviously, James Conner's a good running back. Smith-Schuster's a good wide receiver. But beyond them, you didn't really think that this offense would be all that explosive, and it is.
I'm with you. The Steelers have been, this is the first time I think we agreed, but the Steelers have been the most surprising team because, not just because they're undefeated, but because I think early on, I could be wrong, I just remember, but I didn't think that they would be even second in the division because I had so many questions and marks about their offense. I had no question marks about their defense. I always thought that their defense heading into the season was going to do really, really well, and they still exceeded that.
The most disappointing team of the year so far for me is the San Francisco 49ers. Now, it's not entirely their fault. It has a lot to do with injury, but the reigning NFC champions have lost Jimmy Garoppolo, George Kittle, Nick Bosa, and plenty more. They're last in the NFC West right now. It's a tough division, but they're last in the NFC West. And, I mean, when you're the reigning NFC champion, you were in the Super Bowl last year, you don't expect to just fall off that quickly, unless you're the New York Giants, apparently. But San Francisco 49ers just haven't really gotten it done this year. For me, they're the most disappointing team of the year.
I was tempted to say my own team with Atlanta, but then again, I've been disappointed in them since the start of the season. But I digress. The most disappointing team, or I should say teams, is the entire NFC least. But more specifically, I won't bash too much on the Giants. I do that more on the picks. I won't bash Washington because they do that to themselves. Dallas, I know Dak is hurt. I know he's hurt, but here is where it's more so Dallas in this whole division. They have had high hopes. They were most people said that they're going to win a division, but they said by default most of the time their defense is like, oh my god, we have all these players on our defensive line, we have all these players on defense, our defense is going to be great, we have Dak, we have Cooper, CeeDee Lamb, and time in and time out they just fall flat. And it honestly brings me joy whenever I see the Cowboys do bad. It just gives me a little bit of hope. But right now the whole NFC East is just very disappointing. It's more disappointing just to watch any NFC East team play against each other because you just hope that the whole 60 minutes goes by.
All right, the AFC offensive Player of the Year. For me, this is an easy one, and there's a reason. It's Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry has had an absolute monster of a season. He leads the league in rushing yards with 775. He has 8 touchdowns, and he's averaging 110.7 yards per game. Those are insane numbers.
Damn.
And of course, I have to, for Derrick Henry's thumbnail, throw the picture of Josh Norman get absolutely flung by Derrick Henry on Thursday Night Football. But the most interesting thing about Derrick Henry so far this season, he has not fumbled the ball once. And that is why, to me, Derrick Henry, the AFC Offensive Player of the Year.
I think Derrick Henry is up there. There's a bunch of other players I was thinking of. I think one player could have been, and he was close to being my Rookie of the Year for AFC as well, was Edwards-Helaire for Kansas City. But my AFC is because he's not my other award, and that is Patrick Mahomes, because he is lighting it up on offense. I have someone else going for a different award that Nick will get to later on. But, Mahomes, what else can you say? You talk about Henry having no fumbles. Patrick Mahomes has 1 interception, 21 touchdowns, 1 interception, and he's second in passing. Now, I know you might be saying that that's another award. I'll get to that in a second. But I have right now for AFC Offensive Player of the Year as Patrick Mahomes, because he is just lighting it up. Yeah, he has a lot of offensive weapons, but you still have to do really well no matter what.
Okay, for the NFC Offensive Player of the Year, since I don't have Mahomes for that other award that we keep hinting at, I have this guy for my NFC Offensive Player of the Year. That is Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson, so far this year, 26 touchdowns, leads the league by 5. The next highest, like Ben said, is Patrick Mahomes with 21. So he is 5 ahead of Patrick Mahomes, who is in second place behind him. So I think that alone is pretty amazing. 2151 for yards so far on the year. That's 6th in the league. Now, this is why I don't have Russell Wilson for that other award over Patrick Mahomes. 6 interceptions on the year. Now, 6, I know it's not that much, but so far this year, interceptions haven't really been like a big thing. 6 interceptions is actually 9th among active starters in the NFL right now. So 9th, like, highest. So not a great thing. I think Russell Wilson, though he's very clearly an MVP candidate, I think you have to look at the interceptions and you have to look at the fact that he's just not putting up the same numbers as Mahomes other than touchdowns. So for me, Russell Wilson, the NFC Offensive Player of the Year.
For my NFC Offensive Player of the Year, I was going back and forth between 2 players in the same division. I was going back and forth between either Aaron Rodgers and this player, but the deciding factor, yes, you can call it recency bias, but at the end of the day, he missed a game and is only just barely behind Derrick Henry, and that is Dalvin Cook. Dalvin Cook has 11 total touchdowns, 10 rushing, 1 receiving. The next one after him is Todd Gurley at 8. So he's going off. You see him, he's shifty. He breaks tackles. He's about 100 yards behind Derrick Henry, and he does have 1 fumble. But at the end of the day, Dalvin Cook, the amount of explosive potential he has on any given play, you just give him the ball, and you just have to sit and watch, because like he has that factor of like, as soon as he has the ball in his hands, he is able to create something out of nothing. And I think he has the power. He has power. He has the ability to juke out, and he just has all the skills that you need and want from a running back.
All right, moving on to the defensive side of the football and back to the AFC. It's the AFC Defensive Player of the Year. And for me, I think this was a pretty easy one. I'm going with TJ Watt of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, you look at the Pittsburgh Steelers, they're 7-0, the most surprising team of the year, unanimously between me and Ben. And the big reason for that is their defense. You look at their offense, and they don't have any players that are like in the top 10 for like anything on offense, any category, no matter what you look at it. On defense, you have Watt, Dupree, and Tweet, however you say his name, both among the league leaders in like almost every category. And specifically, TJ Watt, 6.5 sacks so far on the year, is tied for 4th in the league. 13 tackles for loss is leading the league. Well, it's actually tied for the league lead, but it's up there. He's number 1 in the league for tackles for loss, and he also has an interception on the year. I think TJ Watt is absolutely dominated. He's the best player on the Steelers defense, a defense that I think is probably one of the best in the league.
I was tempted to go with TJ Watt as well with you. We could have had two picks of the same, but I have someone else that knows a lot about the picks for Steelers, mainly because he doesn't know whether he wants to keep his helmet on a lot of times, and that is Myles Garrett. Myles Garrett is tied with a player that I won't say just yet in the league in sacks at 9, which kind of freaked me out because I thought it was going to be a half, but it's 9. And on top of that, he is just, as far as a young pass rusher, he's really honestly the bright spot of that Browns defense, in all honesty. If he wasn't there, I don't think they would be even close to where they are. He has 9 tackles for loss, which is up there. I think it's like top 5 right now, or at least up there, top 10. So right now, I think Myles Garrett, for me, is the AFC Defensive Player of the Year.
All right, and the last player award before the big one, it's the NFC Defensive Player of the Year. And all signs point to Aaron Donald, right? You're supposed to pick Aaron Donald for this one. He's the right pick. He's leading the league in sacks, or he's tied with Ben's Defensive Player of the Year, Myles Garrett. But I understand he's leading the league in sacks, but that's it. To me, the Defensive Player of the Year for the NFC side of the football is Carlton Davis of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. A lot of you are probably like, who the hell is Carlton Davis? Well, Carlton Davis is tied for the league lead in interceptions so far this year with 4. 33 tackles so far this year. 28 of them, I believe, I could be off by 1 or 2 there, were solo tackles. And to me, that's incredible. If you look at tackles among cornerbacks in the league this year, there's him and one other player that have like 30 and 40 tackles. Everyone other than that is in like the teens, maybe even lower. So he's getting to the football, he's making plays, and he has 3 tackles for loss, which is also among the league leaders for cornerbacks for tackles for loss. So this defense is still holding together strong, and I think Carlton Davis is right now at the head of that defense.
I am going. It could be you could say it's the obvious pick, but that's because I might be alone on this. Nick might be on something. I don't know, but I'm going with Aaron Donald because, in all honesty, he's not just the NFC Defensive Player of the Year. He's just the overall best defensive player of the league. I will go at anyone that says otherwise. He's leading the league in sacks. He's top 3. He has 3 forced fumbles. That's tied for 3rd in the league. Yeah, he doesn't have any interceptions because guess what? He's a defensive lineman. What do you want a defensive lineman to do? You want him to rush the quarterback. You want him to create pressure. And guess what? You want to double him, say like, oh, he's not getting many sacks, he's doubled. Guess what? That creates opportunities for other players on that Rams defense to get to the quarterback. I just don't see anyone that's close, in my opinion, for overall defense. He is just that elite. He's just a beast of a player, and that's why I have him as my NFC and really, honestly, overall defensive player of the year.
All right, so the big pick, the MVP of the year. We are one award away from it. It is the best play of the year. And I'm just going to show the clip real quick. No sound on it. I just want to point this out now that this clip is owned by the NFL. I don't own this clip. I didn't make the clip. I don't own the NFL. If I did, I would not be making YouTube videos. Trust me. So, for my best play of the year, I am going with none other than the number one play, the play that signifies a team better than any other play. Daniel Jones, 80 yards, just to fall flat on his face and not get the touchdown. They end up getting the touchdown anyway. So
I'm sorry, I gotta laugh at that.
So let me walk you through the play real quick. Daniel Jones takes the read option, fakes the handoff, and runs up the middle. There's absolutely nobody there. He's got an easy touchdown ahead of him, and he slips and falls at the 20-yard line, and that just signifies the entire Giant season. Ben, what is your play of the year?
Mine is between the Seahawks and the Cardinals, and it was when Russell Wilson threw a pick to Budda Baker, number 32 on the Cardinals, and DK Metcalf, my surprising player, just turned on the Jets and went from end zone to end zone to catch up with Budda Baker and tackle him. Wasn't they just caught up to him and was close? He caught up to him and tackled him, and even Budda Baker said afterwards he was surprised by that.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, the pick you've all been waiting for, the Midseason MVP Awards, and we've both already hinted at it. Probably a little too much, so I'm going to go ahead and throw both of our MVPs up there and let's talk about it. So, My midseason MVP award is Patrick Mahomes, and there's a reason why I picked him over Russell Wilson. Patrick Mahomes, he's second in the league in yards behind Matt Ryan. He's second in the league in touchdowns behind Russell Wilson, but he's only thrown the one interception so far this year. So for me, Patrick Mahomes is leading the league in every passing category. He's up there for the league in every passing category you can look at. And so is Russell Wilson. So to me, the only difference maker between these two players is the turnover ratio. And turnovers are very, very important in football. And I do think that Patrick Mahomes having 5 less interceptions than Russell Wilson makes up for the fact that he has 5 less touchdowns than Russell Wilson. So Patrick Mahomes, the MVP of the halfway point of the 2020 NFL season.
And this is where you're wrong. Patrick Mahomes is, I would say, arguably, I would say he's right now the best quarterback in the league. He's reigning Super Bowl champion and Super Bowl MVP. He's amazing. I got Wilson as my MVP for one reason only. He's not only leading the league in touchdowns. He's only like 20 yards behind Josh Allen, by the way. So he's basically up there, like almost top 5. He's technically 6, but he's basically almost top 5 in passing. He's up there in passing. He has everything that you want passing, just like Mahomes. And at the end of the day, he is helping that offense. I know I said my most rising player was DK Metcalf. I know I just gave him a play for DK Metcalf. Metcalf is an amazing receiver, and Tyler Lockett is an amazing receiver. After that, who does Russell Wilson have? Carson's a solid running back, but the Chiefs have now Le'Veon Bell and Edwards-Helaire, who's a solid rookie as well. They got Tyreek Hill, who's the fastest receiver in the NFL, and you could argue top 5 receiver. You got Travis Kelce, who, if he's not number 1 tight end in the league, he's number 2 behind Kittle, which in my opinion that's the case. But they're 1 and 2 basically between Kittle and Kelce. You got a solid offensive line. Their defense is no joke either. So Mahomes has all these weapons. So, yeah, I'm not denying Mahomes' talent, but Wilson is asked to do way more for his team and carry way more of an offensive load for his team compared to Patrick Mahomes.
All right, guys. Well, I hope you enjoyed the 2020 Midseason Awards. We will revisit this at the end of the season after the Super Bowl and crown the 2020 season champions. But until then, you're going to have to keep watching Nick's Picks, which we're about to record next. So stay tuned for all that, guys. Plus my 32 team series, 16 episodes trying to find out if I can win with every team on all Madden and Madden 21. But hope you guys enjoyed the 2020 Midseason Awards. Ben, is there anything you want to say before we go?
DK Metcalf and Aaron Donald are the best when it comes to the gym.
All right. Have a great one, guys. Peace.
Jacked as fuck. I'm surprised they haven't gotten like surprise drug tests, because that's how the NFL works.